Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a federal jury trial is underway for a Victoria man accused of money laundering.
A Lavaca County man is sentenced to prison after he's convicted of 4 crimes.
And this year's Toys for Tots campaign launches, making sure no child goes without gifts this Christmas.
Well, it was a nice day with sunshine getting us up into the 80s. We're going to be slightly warmer for the next couple of days, but next week we still expect some sweater weather. We'll be talking about that coming up after this.
And we have multiple top players nominated for the Whataburger Super Team. Find out who these athletes are later on.
You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shawna Currie.
And I'm Don Brubaker.
A federal jury is hearing the case of a Victoria man accused of multiple counts of money laundering.
25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman is live at the federal courthouse in downtown Victoria. And Amaya, where does the case stand today?
A grand jury indicted a local business owner, Jason Brannon, in June of last year. He is now on trial at the federal courthouse. Now, Brandon, the jury trial started Monday. Brandon is accused of 5 counts of money laundering. The charges came after a joint investigation by the DEA and IRS Criminal Investigation Division. According to case documents, Brandon is accused of laundering more than $600,000 through his companies, J&B Cleaning, High Tech Service Company, and Hills Lawn and Tree Service. If found guilty, Brandon will face prison time, fine, and seizure of property. The jury was released earlier today, and they will resume tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Reporting live from downtown Victoria, Amaya Norman, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Amaya, thank you. A man faces 3 charges in Yorktown. U.S. Marshals arrested 25-year-old Ravondre Wicks in the 200 block of East Gonzales and Yoakum. Wicks faces charges of aggravated assault with a weapon, aggravated robbery, and assault of a family member. He is in the DeWitt County Jail on bonds totaling $100,000. A man in Lavaca County faces 4 concurrent terms in state prison. Thomas Hemrick was sentenced this week after he was convicted of burglary of a home, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, and possession of a controlled substance. The longest prison sentence was 10 years for burglary of a home. An El Campo man could be facing multiple charges after an arrest in Jackson County. Deputies took Alex Vasquez into custody following a tip about a vehicle linked to a burglary at James Food Mart in Lolita. When the car was searched, deputies say they found methamphetamine, small baggies, and a digital scale. Vasquez was booked in jail on a drug charge. More charges could come from the burglary. State officials say a fire early this morning at a Wharton apartment complex was not criminal in nature. Emergency crews from across the region were on the scene at the River Bend apartment complex on Junior College Boulevard. 8 units were affected, 2 of which were vacant at the time of the fire. A social media post from the Wharton County Police Department said all residents were safely evacuated. Another weather day to make the Chamber of Commerce proud.
Yes, I got out in the yard during the day, got some, to-do list things checked off and got to enjoy some nice weather. So, yeah. Mac, is this going to continue into the weekend or are we seeing a change?
We got a couple of nice days coming up. I was driving by and some workers recognized me and said, "Hey, nice weather." And I'm going, well, you're welcome, happy to help out. So people are enjoying the sunny skies and the mild weather. That nice soft southerly wind was very helpful today. And so continuing with that south wind, we'll get a little bit more humidity and stay up into the upper 80s. However, still on the west coast of the United States, some big Pacific storms will have something to do with our weather. And for the Midwest, the first big snow of the season's coming in for the weekend. We'll talk about that coming up after this.
Mike, thank you. Women in Central Texas are accusing a physician at an Army base of unspeakable actions. They say he recorded video of them during gynecological exams.
Adam Schindler reports the women are now planning on filing a civil lawsuit.
Cobos law firm traveled to Fort Hood from Houston to accuse the doctor and Fort Hood leadership of what they are calling a years-long assault on women patients at Darnell Medical Center.
He would treat survivors, victims, his patients, OBGYN ladies who would go in for breast examinations. They would go in and check up on their pregnancies. And he would improperly photograph and videotape these women as he was conducting those procedures.
Videos Kobos law firm says he took with his cell phone.
As he was conducting the procedures, he would go to a back room, he would put his phone in his breast pocket, and he would explain to the women that he's expecting a phone call.
3 of the 16 clients the law firm is currently representing shared some of what they say they experienced. One victim traveling all the way from Colorado to do so.
As a physician I once trusted from the Women's Center, only to have that trust violated when he took it upon himself to perform a second vaginal surgery on me without my consent while under general anesthesia, and was manipulated into believing this was okay when I was in recovery and in pain.
Others who just wanted to get an ultrasound or have their first child.
He crossed professional and personal boundaries in ways that made me feel deeply uncomfortable and unsafe. He then further violated my trust by lying in his clinical report about the things that he said and the ways that he touched me during that visit.
Before, every time I looked at my son, I would remember those first few days with so much love and happiness. Now, every time I remember, all I can think about is how I was violated during the most vulnerable time of my life. His actions, combined with the failure of the hospital to protect me and my privacy, will impact myself and the other victims for the rest of our lives.
The Kobos law firm is preparing a civil lawsuit in the matter. No criminal charges have been filed.
If you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026, or you can send us an email to staff@crossroadstoday.com.
A federal judge in Austin temporarily blocks key parts of a state law that limits campus protests. The law banned expressive activity on campuses from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. This blocks the University of Texas system's enforcement of a ban and limits on speakers, amplified sounds, and drums. U.S. District Judge David Ezra said the student groups who brought the case are likely to succeed on their claims that the state law violates their First Amendment rights. Court records show the UT system filed a notice of appeal Tuesday.
Registration is now open for the Marine Corps Reserve's 78th annual Toys for Tots campaign. Registration started last Saturday, going through Monday, December 15th. Parents or guardians can get their children signed up to receive gifts. The local Toys for Tots director also encourages those who are able to donate any toy they can, so children do not go without gifts this holiday season.
It's really important to me. Myself, I've taken it personally because I've actually used Toys for Tots in the past for myself because, you know, being a struggling parent and, you know, not being able to provide to give the kids a Christmas, you know, and there are people out there to help you to make sure that you don't have that. I mean, lots of parents already have trouble, you know, coming up with bill money, rent money, you know, so this is just a little off their shoulders.
This year, there's also a Toys for Tots app where you can find donation locations, apply for assistance, or donate online right from your smartphone.
Here's some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca Wave. The Seadrift City Council moved forward on its wastewater treatment plant rehab project. And the Port Lavaca Cemetery Tour retells lives from the past. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com.
You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Just hit the like button and click the notification bell to be sure to receive alerts. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, the latest on the deadly UPS plane crash in Kentucky.
Also ahead, a closer look at the rights air passengers have as more flights are canceled during the federal shutdown.
A powerful story of brotherhood and strength lives on beyond the game. One player's legacy is inspiring a new season and a new generation.
Walks around the hallway, goes up and down 2 flights of stairs, runs up the stairs. They're like, whoa, 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 take it easy, you know? But that's not him. That's not who he was. He was gonna push himself.
Don't miss Legacy of Courage with weekend sports anchor Ray Robinson. A 25 News Now Extra, Thursday night at 10.
4 Florida students were taken to the hospital after eating what police say were laced edible snacks at a middle school today. Authorities say between 7 and 8 students ate the edibles on campus. 4 were hospitalized, the others released to their parents. Police say all the students are in stable condition. Investigators believe the snacks may have contained marijuana, but they're still working to confirm exactly what was inside.
Kentucky's governor has declared a state of emergency after a deadly UPS plane crash at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport.
Lee Waldman reports the number of people declared dead is expected to rise.
Graphic video shows the moment the MD-11 transport aircraft operated by UPS erupted into flames as it slammed into an industrial area around the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, leaving multiple people dead.
Just the heat immediately that all of us felt was so terrifying.
Keela Kennedy saw the plane go down while working at a nearby restaurant.
Seeing all of my friends and coworkers and customers in panic, it was like a movie, unreal.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says despite the massive damage, it could have been much worse.
But let me tell you, this plane barely missed a restaurant bar. It was very close to a very large Ford plant with hundreds, if not 1,000+ workers.
Crews still pouring water on the scene Wednesday as first responders scour the charred wreckage for potential victims. A team from the NTSB on scene to investigate the crash. UPS has deep ties to Louisville. Worldport, the company's massive shipping hub at the airport, has halted operations. The company says more than 20,000 employees handled 300 flights per day and sort more than 400,000 packages per hour.
This is a tragedy for the victims that we've lost. It's a horrible event for everyone that's part of the UPS family and our entire city.
In Louisville, I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
Passenger flights to and from Louisville have resumed, but only one runway is currently open.
The FAA says it is cutting air traffic by 10% across 40 of the country's busiest markets starting Friday morning. It's a move to keep air travel safe during the ongoing government shutdown. The agency is dealing with staffing shortages. Many air traffic controllers are working without pay. Some have started calling out. That is already leading to delays across the country. The FAA administrator says they are not waiting for things to get worse before stepping in, calling the shutdown a real strain on staffing. And this all comes as the country is getting ready for the upcoming holiday travel season. Passengers are being warned to expect even longer delays and disruptions during the government shutdown.
So what do you do if your trip is impacted? In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan breaks down your passenger rights when you fly.
Passengers at airports across the country are dealing with delays and cancellations. The ongoing government shutdown is causing staffing shortages, and that's straining air travel.
We just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
All of this coming as millions of people are expected to fly ahead of a busy holiday season, which is why it's so important for passengers to understand their rights at the airport.
We've come a long way in the last couple of years for passengers to have rights.
Melanie Fish is a travel expert with Expedia. She recommends double checking your airline's policies, but there are certain rights every passenger has. Last year, the Department of Transportation launched a list of rules that protect passengers. Airlines must automatically issue a full refund if your flight is canceled or significantly changed. That means if your domestic flight is delayed by more than 3 hours and more than 6 hours for an international flight, you are entitled to a refund. If you're flying domestically, airlines must deliver your checked bag within 12 hours of arriving or reimburse you for any checked bag fees. If your flight is significantly delayed or canceled, you can ask the airline to give you a meal voucher or cover costs to stay at a hotel, but they're not required to do so. This is the DOT's website. It breaks down what major U.S. airlines will pay for during flight disruptions. Look for those green checks. To avoid travel headaches during the shutdown, Fish recommends this.
It's more important than ever to book that first flight of the day and a direct flight if you can.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Airlines have 7 business days to reimburse you on a credit card or 20 days for other payment methods.
To get more news headlines, weather, and sports, come to crossroadstoday.com.
Here are some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. The stoppage of SNAP benefits alarms food bank officials, and Cuero High School gets a student media education grant. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com.
Well, good evening, everybody. We're looking at 74 degrees right about now. A nice mild day into the 80s, but next week we're back to the sweaters. We'll be looking at today's high temperature, which was 85. Tomorrow we might even get to 88, but it's a short-term warm-up because there is some cold air or colder air on the horizon. We'll be talking about that after this. Well, I'm sure you enjoyed the afternoon weather. It was nice and sunny and fairly mild, comfortable out there. It's going to be, about that way and maybe tad warmer for the next couple of days. But the south wind is a big reason. When the fronts came through last week, they blew everything away. Now that Gulf air is rolling back in, and that's why we're getting our moderating temperatures. Had a little fog early this morning. I don't know if it bothered you, but we're likely to see more fog again tomorrow morning. This little frontal system looks interesting, but it's really not going to do much. It's going to fall apart way up there in Dallas. On the west coast, we're getting about 3 huge storms coming in, and one of them, not this one, but the one behind it, is likely to affect our area. But then that is sort of the good news. Here's the bad news for the eastern United States. We're talking the Midwest all the way down to St. Louis. Big early season snowstorm already developing. We'll be talking about that in a second. For us, that south wind makes all the difference. It's going to get a little bit stronger during the afternoon hours and settle down at night, but that is what's going to help continue the warming trend that we've got that'll be with us all the way through Saturday. Sunday is a whole different thing, because we're going to pick up a gusty north wind that's going to be rolling through our area. Overnight low temperatures tonight getting down to about 58 for us. As you can see right here along the immediate coastline, because it's closer to the warm waters of the Gulf, their temperatures will be a little bit milder, probably in the low 60s. But inland areas getting down into the mid 50s tonight and tomorrow. Yes, 85 for us, and then 87 in Gonzales, and even an 89. That's almost 90 degrees out there in Three Rivers and George West. So for what we're talking about, the big story for today is what I'm calling it the polar plunge. Some people are calling it the polar vortex. I think it's a little early for that, but we're going to have a big dive of cold air onto the eastern states. There's supposed to be some colors here. I don't know where it went, but you saw temperatures down to 15 and highs barely 30 degrees. This is a better map that'll show you. As you can see, the cold air starts diving down, and then all of a sudden snow arrives in the Midwest. Big snow's coming down. In fact, there you see it, how it gets all the way down into Georgia there. This would be Sunday and Monday of this coming weekend. So I don't know if you've got family or friends out there, but they're going to be digging, doing this kind of bit for getting the snow off the sidewalks. Meanwhile, we've got big high pressure on the west coast, so that's kind of protecting us from any of those big Pacific storms. So when what we get is Sunday, frontal system coming through, it's going to be generally dry, but it's going to, shall we say, return us back to the chilly weather that we had today. Now, here's the forecast for tomorrow. In the short term, we're still on the mild side, so enjoy it while you can. Up to about 82 at the coast, 85 in the inland areas after a cool early morning low temperature. And as you can see on your 7-day forecast, we're on the warm side till Saturday. Then Sunday, big cold north wind blows in, and that'll give us some chilly weather for at least the first half of next week. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody, we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here is Shawna.
So I can get those sweaters out again, right, Mac?
Yes, keep them handy.
Okay. All right. Well, now we send it over to Max Williams, who has a look at sports, but this is a little bit of a different sport.
Yeah, a little bit. Don't got to worry about no snow that's going to be affecting us like up there in my home state there of Ohio out there, because we had the 2A state marching band contest in San Antonio. I'll tell you some of the top placers from our area coming up next in sports. We keep our Week 11 previews going with the Cuero Gobblers looking to fight for a district champs possible at home versus Robstown. The Gobblers, after their loss to Rockport Fulton in Week 7, have won 2 straight district games versus Sinton and Ingleside. The Gobblers face Robstown, who has lost 2 straight there to Fulton and Sinton. So Cuero can still clinch a share of the district title with a win and Fulton losing. Again, the kickoff will be at 7 p.m. Over to 4A Division I, where the Bay City will face, Bay City versus Cowens, our game of the week, but this game in the same district is crucial as well. Lavernia clinch a district title outright with a win over El Campo. If El Campo wins, they would force potential, again, 3-way tie between the winner, actually a tie between the winner of Bay City versus Calhoun. Lavernia, therefore, the share of the title. So Lavernia has had wins over Bay City and Calhoun earlier this year. Now, staying in football, earlier this week, Dave Campbell's Texas High School football revealed the Whataburger Super Team nominees for 2A and 5A ranks. We had some nominees mentioned from the Crossroads, and Goliad's defensive back Brody Brockhauser, wide receiver Lamont Franklin, the Victoria West Jacob Freeman was named, and quarterback Jackson Marie and Cuero Cale Russell as well from Tidehaven were named. So if you want to vote for all of them, just go to texasfootball.com, Whata Super Team. Now, yesterday we finished up the area round of playoffs and we're moving to regional semifinal round. Let's look at the 2A, where the Refugio Lady Cats will host the Latonia Bulldogs tomorrow night. It'll be at 6 p.m. at Edna High School. Then Shiner will face the Freer Buckaroos tonight at 7 p.m. at Kennedy High School. Then the Goliad Tigerettes, with not dropping a single set in 13 consecutive games, will face the Orange Grove Bulldogs Friday night at 5:30 p.m. at Rockport High School. Now, staying in 3A with Industrial, though, they're going to face Santa Gertrudis Academy Lions. They'll be tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at Rockport High School. Then El Campo will face the Canyon Lake Hawks, with that game going to be at Friday. It's going to be at 6 p.m. at Gonzales High School. Then the TAPS volleyball ranks, the St. Joseph Lady Flyers will face Houston Lutheran South Academy, and then Shiner St. Paul will face their Valor Academy from Waco, and Sacred Heart would face Katy Faith West Academy in the semifinals. All those are going to be a neutral site. locations. Now, the season on the Crossroads Football Live every Friday night, where the highlights the best marching bands we always talk about here across South Texas. Some of the bands that competed in the 2A state marching band competition held at the Alamodome first, with the Shiner Comanche Band placed in 5th place overall. Ganado placed in 10th place, and Luis finished in 12th place. Congrats to all 3 of these bands. And next Wednesday night, the Industrial Golden Cobra Band will compete at the Alamodome. And finally, back in early September, I highlighted local star pitcher Lexi Sanchez as she tried to commit to Bryan and Stratton College in Virginia Beach. Well, she decided to change her mind. She's going to be closer to home at Coastal Bend College. She highlighted that she wants to be, the energy and culture she had there at Coastal Bend just felt like home, and she wants to be supported there by all of her loved ones and everyone that's on the team. So congrats on making this decision. Head out to Coastal Bend College. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, Shawna, back to you.
All right, Max, thank you. We're back in a moment, and then we'll tell you if anyone won the huge Mega Millions jackpot last night. Finally tonight, the Mega Millions jackpot now stands at an estimated $843 million. That news from lottery officials today after no winning tickets were sold, matching all 6 numbers in last night's big drawing. This is now the 8th largest jackpot in Mega Millions history. The next drawing will take place late Friday night and will be the 38th drawing since a winning ticket was sold in Virginia back in June. Okay, I have a question for y'all. I'll start off with Max. If you win it, what would you buy first?
Oh, God. Wow. Could be anything, Don. I mean, you know, maybe a new car, a new house possibly, if it's good enough, you know.
You could buy Ford Motor Company.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say.
And, you know, I keep saying, well, it wasn't me that won it, but I guess I've got to buy a ticket to have a chance to win it. But, no, I think with it being the holidays, I would love to take some of that money and be able to, you know, share, you know, Toys for Tots, you know, help to you know, Salvation Army, you know, give to some of those organizations that help others.
That's great.
During the holidays.
That is great.
I pay off student loans for my kids.
Oh.
My 4 children went to university and they got loans. So I'll cover that, then build a hospital, then, you know, buy a city or something, you know, that kind.
By a city.
By a city.
I'd be the mayor.
Call it Mactown.
Mactown, yeah. It's a lovely place to be.
And you can predict the weather, or
Yeah, you
I
bet.
guess
No,
you get creative.
weather's always going to be good there. You know? Folks, we do have some nice weather ahead. It'll be nice and warm in the 80s during the afternoon hours. The night times are nice and cool. We probably are going to have a lot of fog again tomorrow morning, so do watch out if you're an early driver. Otherwise, the weather gets cold again beginning on Sunday as the north wind blows back in.
All right, Monday looks a little out of place there, but get those sweaters out.
All right. All right. Thank you, Mac. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Until then, have a great evening.